Whoops, I'm really excited for this.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, Furia is one of those teams we were talking about beforehand, who came into the region trying to compete with some of the best teams in the world. I would say NA is just so stacked this year. So Furia came over and they're trying to get that good practice and try to get proper seeding as well. But they've been struggling so far, and I think Scuzz Esports, we can take full-on advantage of this struggling Furia team. I know they have some of the best players, and their track history says different, but they were in a different region back then. So hopefully we can get things going early against Furia and get off of our back heel here on the defensive end. But we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. We're definitely going to put our best foot forward and try to beat this matchup.
Again, continuing to be back on defense to start off the game as Card, Kaio, and Jan still pushing it. Furia trying to strike first, as I'm sure they're dealing with a little bit of frustration. They got the 3-1 over Gentleman to start off their evening. But then, as mentioned, dropped in 5 to the Shopify Rebellion, who playing very well today. But alas, we're not going to worry about them. We're going to worry about the folks in front of us. And Furia continues to furiously pound the back of the net. The saves and the defense still holding up here for Scuzz. They haven't been able to get past the midfield line in the first minute and change, but still have not conceded either.
Yeah, one good thing Furia does is they do such a good job at pacing, but Saya going to take full-on advantage of the rotation of Furia, who overextended right here on this play and scored the goal first right now for Scuzz. So huge first goal for Scuzz, and this is exactly how we want to start this one off.
And that's just going to continue to drive home the point that, you don't want to play necessarily too many terribly mind games with it, especially, I mean, Furia are established players, but if you can start creating that inkling of doubt early on, It may bode well for you. And you know what? The first 70 seconds may have been a hiccup. The following 15 have been nothing but Scuzz. Disgusting to go up 2-0.
Disgusting. Let's go. Scuzz up 2-0. Absolutely great start right now. Has to feel like a ton of weight has been lifted off of your shoulders, especially since Furia had that first initial segment on the offensive end, but they met with that brick wall that is Scuzz Esports defense. Nice bump trying from right there onto Card from Aris. Couldn't quite get the touch that he needed to, though, but this chance is still alive. Aris trying to go for that lower 50-50 win. It's worked out for us beforehand in the past, but right now, 100 boosts in a dream. Aris. Kaio at midfield as well. Trying to push this one through. Here comes Card, left-hand side, going for that weird angle of a shot off the side wall. Couldn't quite come up with that one either. Furia still on my 2.
They're still pushing. This offense has been strong for Furia. We've seen the mechanics come out to play across all sorts of different stages. The defense for Scuzz is stepping up to the task. 2 minutes gone in game number 1, up 2-0. Looking to try to make it potentially 3, but we'll be back onto defense for the moment. Card going for the follow-through is going to be denied. We'll see if another play can be taken out here by Furia, and then will instead go off to the side. Eris looking for the leak out to the midfield, over to Eris. Will not fully be able to make connection, but starting to get a little bit of breathing room here for Scuzz as half-time done and dusted. We still hold on to the 2-goal lead.
Jan's trying to put that one through as well. Going to be denied by the defense of Scuzz. Here comes Card off the back wall. Has the double touch. Eris, great positioning right there. Knew that 50-50 was going to come. Lands right on top of his Octane. Scuzz trying to clear this one over to the other end of the field. Top right-hand corner. Once again, the boost meters for both of these teams. You started to see the suffocation coming through from Furia. Another double touch right there. Kaio trying to push that envelope, trying to overextend just a tad bit. And why not? Why not in this situation? You can't essentially, go down anymore. So why not overextend just a little bit? Because you're only down by 2 goals. So, I mean, a minute and 45 seconds left. You have to start trying to take more risks in your offense. And that one just did not pay out for Furia.
And start finding those other ways to attack. And Scuzz are finding their own path. They're pre-jumping a lot. Eris earlier with the A, finding a beautiful challenge at least after jumping what it feels like from the first round of the night. But still, the aggression working out very well here for Scuzz. Furia unable to get too much momentum going in their own favor. At the 80 seconds left, they're starting to play a little bit more collected. But Scuzz, quick to the attack, quick to the challenge, quick to making Furia as uncomfortable as possible.
Midfield line now. Taking some precious seconds off the clock right there as Eris at midfield. Trying to be methodical about his touches as well, and you have to be because this is Furia. Nice follow-up touch coming through for Kaio, but it's not going to go ahead and be denied by Scuzz's defense. Jan's doing a great job with that backboard presence. I believe he might have got a bump as well onto the last person back, just missing contact right there with Eris. So Furia only down by 1, 61 seconds to go.
There's double commit coming up from that back post, and one player in the air, Saya, remaining on turf, so Eris had to return quickly. So still up by 1 with a minute to go, and Eris going for the pinch, but he could not quite get it. Still gonna hold it back. Kaio on the respawn card has to dodge the bump, the drop down pass, the shot, the save up the post. Frantic on the defense as Furia as they're trying to work their way out. And the demo coming down on the ground. Yan taking it through the sky, but it will be denied as well. The 1-goal lead holds, but the pace continuing to pick up. The tension rising here in game 1. And whoops, this is getting a lot closer than we thought it may have been in the first half.
Yeah, Aris at the midfield line trying to keep that one over towards the blue side of the field. Here comes Card now. Nice infield pass to Kaio. That one's taken away, though, by Aris as well. Here comes a nice little bumpy play from Scuzz. That one can't come find its way through, though. Saya almost had that one dead to rights. I think the bump just didn't come through. Final 10 seconds on the clock now at the midfield line. Card trying to pass this one back. Saya with the overtake. Yans pops that one towards the midfield. Can we keep this one up in the air? We do. The demolition coming through as well from Saya. Might find one, but no! It's going to go ahead and die on the goal line, but it doesn't matter. Scuzz Esports takes game number 1 over Furia.
Look, respecting keeping it up as the time takes 0 and, you know, wanting to get one more on the board. But that one, I was kind of sitting there mentally like, just dig it, just drop it. Come on, let's end this. We've seen 0-second goals tonight. I don't want to see any right now. So still able to hit the ground. It was on a shot, but taking game 1 against Furia, going up quick and bouncing back and throwing an upper punch against one of the best teams in the world and the number 2 seed in North America coming into the weekend. Scuzz is showing that, hey, they're here to play any given day. You never know what you're going to get here in the qualifiers. A fantastic game 1. I'm excited to see the follow-up in game 2. Whoops.
You were talking about that 0-second goal, basically, right there, Alligator. I got flashbacks to Worlds, Game 7, SSG, Furia. Absolutely crazy 0-second goal, and the crazy just games in general, basically. So, yeah, they wanted to keep that one away from the orange side of the field, and Scuzz did just that. And they take game number 1. As you hop into game number 2, we have to quickly forget about that game and pretty much start this one off with a whole new segment. Double touch right there from Eris coming through. We did win that kickoff goal to start this one off, and we had a little bit of an offensive segment, but couldn't quite find the first initial goal. So Scuzz needs to score first once again, and they need to score early to put that pressure onto Furia.
Absolutely agreed. And, you know, not to play into trends too terribly much, but Aquadome has generally been pretty decent for us so far throughout the night. Yeah. You know, our first round against a crew, we lost in overtime, but still nearly 2.5 minutes of overtime. And obviously getting a 3-0 over Seoul in our last trip down the deep blue sea. So it turns out that maybe for Scuzz, the pressure is really turning into diamonds, into the kind you brag about, and not the kind that one of us is. So continuing to be scoreless in the first minute of game 2, but pressure building from Scuzz.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job applying this pressure, but we talked about it beforehand. There's just so many missed opportunities tonight for Scuzz Esports. Great overtake right there from Eris that saves that one away. I think Yans had himself a double touch off the back wall had he not been there. This was at midfield. A little bit of a missed touch right here from Yans as well at the midfield line. Trying to do everything he possibly can with these flip resets and not baiting out the defense too much. Saya clears that one away towards midfield. So Scuzz defense hanging on, standing tall. Now hopping over to the offensive side, trying to get something going here. Was Eris, but couldn't quite find the touch that he needed to. Yans, once again, another double touch. But Furia going to go ahead and score first. Kaio going to score this one. Look at the bump from Yans as he gets this double touch. He forces it off the back wall. Saya gets bumped, trying to clear that one away. Didn't want to put that one into dangerous territory. And unfortunately, Furia scores that one.
Yeah, just dropping it down. Kaio attacking. So Furia on top, only 92 seconds. The kickoff heading back our way. So, you know, a little bit more return to normalcy off the kickoff side. So maybe we'll see if that comfort can come back. Again, just down 1. Kaio looking to throw in some fancy tricks up in the air, which from Furia, we haven't necessarily seen too many of the high mechanical plays yet this series. We've seen flashes of them, some flashes of brilliance, but not quite there. Haven't been able to ice it up. And Kaio looking to try to make it a little bit different here. Could not get the follow through, and we'll send it right back up onto offense. Great chase down, a great demo as well coming up from Scuzz.
Yeah, so far, like we talked about beforehand, Scuzz's offense and defense have been playing particularly well. This is a nice pass off the back wall from Eris to Eris, trying to find that connection once again. And if I quite get the angle, nice defense from Furia. But Saya with the follow-up touch to be a little bit too wide as well. So back to the drawing board they go. I'm not sure if this was a fake out right here from Saya trying to bait that defense up. Maybe, you know, the reads from Furia being so fast, but might catch him off guard here. Oh my God, Yen saves that one away. Card there for the assist too. The pace of play right now from Furia, and you can tell who the #1 man is right now. Jans has been the leading person touching the ball up the field for the most part. So maybe we can take that away from Jans from Scuzz Esports and recognize that one. That one gonna be denied as well. 2 minutes to go, Alligator, and these are some close opportunities right here for Scuzz.
It's getting closer and closer, and we're at the level of play that the smallest differences lead to the widest margins in the ultimate result. But still, just that slim difference of 1 goal. Our defense is still holding it strong. They're setting up that transition and looking for these bumps as well, but the demos just have not come as cleanly. We're trying to get the bumps onto the goal line as well. So 100 seconds left in game number 2. Down 1. The play coming up from Saya, collected by Aris. And what did I say? Down 1. Nah, we're tied up 1-1. And a beautiful team play from the trio in orange.
Yeah, and this just comes from, once again, a defensive mishap right here from Furia. And that's Kyle, who was on the rotation back through, trying to get some sort of contact, could not generate that contact, and that just leads to an open net opportunity right there for Scuzz Esports. So huge play right there for Scuzz. You've seen Saya right there stealing the boost away, trying to steal the boost away from Kyle. That one might lead to something as well, but even though he didn't get that boost, he was still aggressive in the side corner and bumped away Kyle, forcing him to use some of that boost away. So we might see a goal here from Scuzz Esports as they put the pressure on.
We'll need to see it because this pressure is getting to be into that high risk, high reward situation. And the time ticking down in a night where goals have not been the easiest to come by. Start to think that, you know, maybe this aggression, maybe the extra rolls of the dice on the risks may be warranted. Saya's going to go up for the pre-jump. I've seen a couple from him so far tonight. Still tied in the final minute of game number 2. Scuzz looking to get that commanding 2-0 lead. Furia looking to tie up the series, but the pace starting to slow down a little bit more controlled. Scuzz looking to try to break it out of our half.
38 seconds left. Saya with a nice save on the goal line. Here comes Jans, 50-50. Not really working in favor of Scuzz Esports right there, and we saw Card trying to connect with one of these in game number 1, and you know, we see him go right back to the same angle on the left-hand side, and finally he finds that redirect right there to send Fury up 2-1 now. So beautiful shot right there from Card.
It's a beautiful shot. You know it's good when you can even hear production gasp at it. It was solid and warranted. So down 1 with less than 30 to go, and we've bounced back before. We're gonna have to show that grit against this hot Furia team, but Jan had to be back for that. Kaio setting it upfield as well to take time off the clock. So we'll go to that final 10. Eris on the ground, pinches off past Kaio. Aris upfield, looking for the doink, puts it onto the back wall. It's going to need to be attacked quickly. Kaio will be the one to do it. Goes off the ceiling, dropping down midfield. A quick turn again by Kaio, just escorting this ball back and forth. And Saya unable to make contacts. Furia come back to end up taking game number 2 and bringing us to a tied series.
Listen, I'm going to say this right now for all the Scuzz Esports fans and all the new people finding the Scuzz stream. Thank you very much for being here with us. But if you want to be a Scuzz Esports fan, you're going to have to go ahead and have yourself a very, very strong heart, because a lot of these matchups tonight, Alligator, have just been 1-goal differentials. You know, we had a couple blowout games, 3-0, you know, 3-2s, things like that. But for the most part, it's been 1 goal that has divided us from greatness. And right there, this game number 2 just shows you against Furia how competitive Scuzz Esports can be and should be.
You get to this, I mean, absolutely, you get to this level of competition, and it's the smallest of differences in attacks, in challenges, in how 50-50s go that lead to the difference between winning and losing. And so consistency is what gets you over that hump and gets you through it. And you're starting to see in game 2 a little bit of that consistency show up for Furia, but they were shaky enough in game 1 that we'll see if they're going to bring it back in game number 3. But Scuzz, every reason to be confident coming into game number 3, all tied up against one of the legends of the scene. They're gonna look to try to go up early, and they will do just that 6 seconds in.
Wow. That's all I have to say is just wow. They finally connect with one of these kickoff goals. Aris and Eris, the 1-2 punch connection, worked out time and time again. Scuzz Esports only 6 seconds off the clock, and they're up now against Furia.
Beautiful infield play to get it started and put that best foot forward and show that they are still absolutely in it. They're not rattled in the slightest. They'll have to take it back out of their half again to try to keep this hot start going. Yan is going to assist in it, but Kaio there. Eris will go and get plenty of breathing room, sending it deep. And it will allow Eris to get a demo as well as the boost steal, so holding out of control deep in the blue half. But it will be cleared out. And Scuzz will be looking to try to get that offensive pressure going again that we've seen work fairly well all night. And Furia have done a decent job at slowing it down, but cracks are beginning to show. Whoops.
Yeah, we talked about it beforehand. The more you keep the ball over on the opposite end of the field, those cracks present themselves. The defensive rotations, they present themselves. The defensive mishaps, you know, the chances for an opportunity for the offense, they present themselves. So, I mean, Scuzz has to do a great job of keeping the ball over on the other end of the field, but not only that, they need to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of them as well. But we're going to see if that can come through or not. Eris with a nice flip reset off of the ceiling, trying to extend that play through. This one, Aris once again pushing this one towards the net. This is the pressure we were talking about. Saya just a little bit too fast to the point of attack. Shoots that one a tad bit too high, but still keeping the pressure on. You see Eris overextending himself just a tad bit to try to keep that pressure onto this Furia defense.
That's what's dangerous too, is all three members of Scuzz deep upfield trying to squeeze their way past, and that can lead to counterattack opportunities for Furia. They're able to get back on that initial one, but it's one that may be a little bit tempting to go for later. But we'll see how well stuff ends up working out. But alas, nearly 2 minutes in, still up one. Shot's going to come in, and a beautiful save coming out from Eris. A pre-jump from Saya as well, a double commit. But Eris with enough boost on the back line to get that deep clear. And Scuzz, again, working to get our way back up on the attack, trying to cut off that Furia midfield. And they're still looking for those passing plays that work so well for that trio.
Yeah, Card bringing this one into the corner now. Good 50-50 challenge right there from Eris to pop that one away, but Eris with no boost to work with. Can be a little bit hard to clear that one upfield to take this pressure off this defense. Card, Kaio towards the midfield. You see Nian's creeping up as well. Double commitment right now coming from Scuzz Esports. Might lead to something here for Furia. 2:35 to go. Still hunting for their first goal here and the equalizer.
And it's going to be so important as the series develops as well. This has been such a close matchup. The smallest, the one goal has made the difference each time. All tied up, and now all tied up again. Palindrome on the clock, on the scoreboard, on every aspect of it. Except we'll see the blue highlights on here. Kaio following up after Card's flick, and whoops, just past halftime, game 3, all tied up. What else would you expect in the middle of the bracket?
Yeah, I mean, that just came from a Scuzz Esports mistake, I really feel like. You know, we saw that in game number 2 as well. Furia took advantage of it. I believe it was Jans and Kaio who essentially set up that play beautifully off the back wall, air dribbled it, and then Scuzz bit on the fake. That just happened again. Scuzz literally, it was a nice bring-up attempt to the air dribble off the back wall, and then the follow-up touch is going through for Furia. So, unfortunate they find that tying goal, but still, Scuzz on the offensive end trying to take this lead right back under 2 minutes to go. They're doing a very good job keeping this pressure onto this defense right now of Furia. My apologies. Scuzz does pick up the boost in the top left-hand corner, keeping this pressure on. Saya, shot goes wide to the right-hand side. That was going to be cleared away by Saya or Kaio.
Back down on the defense we go. One thing I really like about what Scuzz has been doing up on offense, we've been lobbing these drop-down passes, going for the waterfall touches, but leaving plenty of room between the ball and the wall to allow the offensive player to go through and find a gap behind the defender. And Furia has been able to escape the last couple of times, but it has, again, worked out well for us in the past. So we'll see if we can find another opportunity here. 75 seconds to go in game 3, tied up with a potential series point positioning on the line. We'll have to work our way back out of defense. The pre-jump by Saya will hopefully lead to a continued transition to offense.
Final 60 seconds to go. Here comes Kaio now. Denied by Eris. Saya, decent advancement upfield. That one's going to pop towards the midfield line. And more importantly, it's going to take a lot of boosts away from Card, though. So it could lead to an offensive transition right here for Scuzz Esports. You've seen the first initial defender going for that 50-50. It's Eris! And it's in! Eris scores this one. Scuzz Esports retake the lead.
Eris is disgusting. Gets the catch, gets the challenge onto Card, and goes for another 50 against Jans. Gets demo, doesn't care, and gets the go-ahead goal in game number 3. We've seen Eris pop off throughout the night so far, but continuing to rise and find new ways to make his name known as we take the lead with about 30 to go. As Furia are going to look to try to get the equalizer, lest they go down here at the halfway point. The 30 seconds back up on offense. Whoops. This again, you said it earlier, it's best not to have a weak heart. I know mine's been pumping like crazy.
Oh my God, the equalizer crosses the finish line almost right on cue. Card somehow, some way keeps this one or pushes this one in. Saya going for the squishy save, couldn't quite come up with it. And once again, that backboard presence from Furia leading to that goal. It's pretty much just a passing. They're using that backboard not for the double touches, but they're using it for the passing plays to one another. And right now, this is a tie ball game with only 15 seconds left. Here comes Eris over to Saya. Saya puts it, tries to shoot for the upper 90. Card has to respect that shot from Saya. This one's going to fall right down into Kyle's pocket. Card upfield. Can Eris get the save? He does. All zeros on the clock now. Scuzz Esports looking to try to kill this ball on the orange side of the field. Here comes Kyle trying to get this one done in regulation, and he does! Kyle drills this one home. Furia take game number 3.
Oh, and that was all set up by Yan, scooping in just underneath as we had the kill attempt. And Furia, we saw in other situations them coming back late in previous tournaments, hoping we weren't going to see it there. But that small little scoop right at the end to get it at the 0 second and take game number 3, that's a clutch factor not often seen. We saw it with us against the crew earlier, but again, credit where credit's due. Just a heck of a goal, but hey, whoops, we talked about it. You got to just brush it off and head into game 4 with your head held high and know that you can take wins off these guys.
Yeah, head held high, but at the same time, it's just one of those things where it still hurts, okay? It still hurts because we had that one in the bag. All 0 seconds on the clock, and just it did not work out in our favor. We just have to kill that ball on our side, and this is why I highly don't recommend kind of calling things in regulation with all zeros on the clock, because we all know this is Rocket League. Anything can happen when the ball is still up in the air, and that's just case in point right there. So let's try to forget this one. Let's try to have a fast, quick memory or short-term memory right here. Just erase that one from our short-term memory. Let's hop into this game number 4 right here, and hopefully we can just go ahead and finish some of these games.
Yep, take it to them and just get this momentum going and show that, again, that we're not afraid to play with the big boys here after we obviously took game number 1 and game 2 and 3. Game 3 especially so close, but alas, only a 1-goal differential here so far in the series. We're going to look to try to tie that up in totality early on in game number 4. We'll have to work our way past a resurgent Furia who are starting to play more comfortably. We've seen Kyle going for several more aerial plays than we saw previously, just pointing towards the comfortability as Furia has warmed up. Nearly an opportunity there for Scuzz, unable to catch up to it in time.
Almost a minute off the clock and still scoreless. We have ourselves a nice, I like to call it ping pong match, where both of these teams is pretty much kind of pass the ball back and forth to one another. No really challenges kind of come from this. It's just kind of, they're trying to establish the boost control. They're trying to establish positioning as well. And usually what happens is, like we talked about before, one of these teams establishes that. You see Kyle right now in the corner, picked up that 100 boost. So Aris, look at the top right-hand corner. Scuzz is just on no or little boost in general. That one relieves a little bit of that pressure as Card brings that one right back towards that midfield line. But you're starting to see Scuzz Esports push back and start to, regain that boost and get some of these far clears that they need.
Look, this is a battle of attrition with how long these qualifier days go, and Kaio's feeling it. You can't take that away from him. One beautiful touch off to the sidewall, another onto the back. Call it a third. Kaio doing it himself, but Furia up 93 seconds in.
I think Saya just actually thought that Kaio was going to shoot this one towards the net, so he went for that first initial pre-jump to take away that shooting lane. But Kaio faked him out, and there's another shot right here. Card's going to score for Furia here, and that's not how we want to see this one. But back to that first goal that we seen from Furia. And I think Kaio just shot that one off the backboard instead and had himself an easy double touch read. So unfortunate, but yeah, Furia up 2-0.
Yep, strong start coming in from that number 2 overall seed. So we'll have to bounce back and try to get momentum back under our way. There's still plenty of time. There's no reason to rush. We just need to be firm, steady, take small steps working forward. We might be able to do just that. Eris looking to follow through. Look at the touch, but goes wide. Scuzz Esports, we haven't really been able to hold that offensive control here in game number 4 as much as we have had earlier, especially when Furia are feeling so much more comfortable in the air than they had been previously.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like their air control is just absolutely insane, and I feel like a lot of their goals result from them air dribbling it from one end of the field to the other, and that's what sets up some of these plays off the backboard as well. So, I mean, we have to keep our eyes on and maybe even challenge early some of these air dribbles that these guys have. And I think Scuzz just kind of tries to hurry back towards the defensive end. What if we take away some of those air dribbles at midfield? It takes away some of these goals. Like, look at this one right here from Kyle off the backboard. Just air dribbles this one almost uncontested the whole entire time. And I really feel like Scuzz just needs to kind of approach this one differently against this Furia team.
And it's one thing that's rather a little bit uncomfortable, it seems to react to. As you recall, back in round number 1 when we were against a crew, a lot of the aerial plays were trying to set each other up as the crew players were looking for passing plays to try to get, the 1-2 downfield. Furia much more comfortable just setting up their own air dribbles and going for the solo play to try to make something happen off of it. Off the kickoff, we'll see something go our way in game number 4. Scuzz on the board. This will just be a dead ball challenge off the kickoff, and Saya cheating up and puts it right down the pipe.
Well, Card was cheating up as well. I think it wasn't the touch that Card was expecting, from Furia. It was just a weird 50-50 that kind of rolled more in favor of Scuzz Esports. And like you said, Saya. Yeah, Saya just took full-on advantage of it. Oh my goodness, a shot from Eris. Covered up from Card, though. So that would put Scuzz Esports in favorable position if they would have scored that one. It would only been 3-2 in that situation. But regardless, yeah, NA kickoffs, going back to that one, the kickoffs have been working out for us pretty much the whole entire night. So keep our eyes on that one as this one progresses. As Saya is going to score this one. Scuzz is down by 1.
That is the bounce back you want to see. Eris finding the sprinting Saya upfield at a pre-flip to even be in the vicinity, and gets that follow-through touch as well. 69 miles per hour on the clock, bringing us one nice game away. Although we will have a brief pause by the referee. We'll make sure everything is good to go in the lobby. But as it stands right now, 3-2. Furia in the lead, up 3-1 in the match. Although after the goal gone in, we did get that quick pause. So we'll see if there was a brief reset, see if it was a controller issue or what. But folks, as soon as we know, we'll let you all know how things are going to go.
Yeah, hopefully they don't take that goal away from us, because what happens sometimes is that a player would DC, the controller might DC, so the referee might rewind time back. That's fairly a long ways away, maybe like a minute or so before that goal cross. But at the same time, hopefully we don't like to see something like that kind of happen. But who knows? Who knows what happened?
Right.
But regardless, this matchup right here, very, very good. Scuzz Esports playing phenomenal. We just have these opportunities that we just need to, pretty much cross the threshold with, because they're there. Furia likes to overextend. The gaps in the defense on the backside of things are there for us to take advantage of, but we just have to get there for some of these challenges.
We have to do it, and it's confirmed the goal will stand, so we will stay at 3-2 and get off to a hot start after that kickoff as well, but still 90 seconds left, and we'll go back onto defense. So call it maybe a tactical timeout. Maybe the server had to refresh. It's all part of playing games online, unfortunately. But we'll continue to go back up onto offense. And whoops, I would love to see an equalizer here and keep that foot on the pedal.
Yeah, we're going to see if that can happen here. A minute and 15 seconds have come and gone. Eris at midfield, keeping this pressure onto this defense. Card trying to challenge that one. Eris does smartly beat him, though. He ends into the corner. This one might come off the sidewall. I thought for sure that one might have found its way through, but Card somehow, some way gets back for Furia and saves that one away.
He pulls a card out of his sleeve, finding one that said +1 defense. They'll keep that lead into the final 50 as Saya is going to look for a solo play, but low on boost. You talked about it earlier, Whoops, as the boost game has absolutely been a war of attrition between these two squads, and one that is flipping back to our favor, at least for the moment. Even if the challenges are a little bit mixed. Hit the final 30. Card with the deep clear. Eris up with the pre-jump. We need it soon. And Eris will look to deliver. It needs to reset. Zero boost. The early jump in by Eris as well. The offense is going to have to retool quickly.
Yeah, final 20 seconds now. Saya, this is to stay alive, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Furia are up 3-1 in the series. 14 seconds now. Here comes Eris. Passes this one upfield. Kyle at midfield takes that one away. Saya trying to beat the defenders back. Jans picks that one up at midfield as well. That's an over Eris, though. Eris does pick this one up. Kaio pops it right back towards Saya. Should be a last-ditch effort. We saw a 0-second goal from Furia. Can we get our own here? Saya off the left-hand side. Can we get this one through? Still up in the air at all zeros. Card off the back wall. No, he fixed it. And that one's going to go ahead and die in the top left-hand corner of the